All right, so we've got this Reddit thread
Yeah,
that someone sent in, and
it's a good one.
it's pretty wild. It's this whole story about an Uber Eats delivery,
Yeah.
and it just like takes this crazy turn.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, what's even more fascinating are all the reactions to it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, people are just all over the place with how they see this whole thing,
Well, it is a pretty intriguing situation. I mean, you've got this seemingly simple story,
right?
but it's sparked such a huge range of responses.
Yeah.
Really shows you how differently we all perceive risk, how we interpret those little social cues. And then,
Yeah, and especially in like
yeah,
today's world.
exactly. It's like dating in the age of the gig economy, right?
Like all these new rules that
Right.
nobody really knows.
Exactly.
Okay, so just to set the scene, we've got this Uber Eats driver.
Okay.
He's out doing his deliveries.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty normal stuff, right?
So far, so good.
Drops off an order of cat food.
Right.
Nothing too out of the ordinary.
No.
Nope. So he goes up to the apartment to deliver it.
Yeah.
And when the door opens, it's this, like, attractive woman,
Ooh.
like in her 20s.
Interesting.
And that's when this whole thing kind of takes on that, like, misconnection feel.
Oh, yeah. Like that classic what if scenario.
Totally. So they chat for a bit, about their cats. They're both cat people, apparently.
Aww.
And then as he's getting ready to leave, he decides to, like, shoot his shot,
Bold move.
ask for her number,
Oh, wow.
and she actually invites him inside.
No way.
Yeah.
So this is where the story gets really interesting. It's like suddenly it's not just a delivery anymore.
It's like a whole different vibe.
Yeah. All these possibilities and anxieties start popping up.
Totally. It's like a rom-com waiting to happen.
Right.
But our driver here, maybe he got a little overwhelmed, or maybe he was just like super focused on finishing his deliveries.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up playing it safe.
Oh, no.
He tells her he's got a few more deliveries to do,
Okay.
that he'll stay in touch.
All right.
She gives him her number,
Uh-huh.
and then poof, nothing.
She ghosted him.
Totally ghosted him.
Wow.
After the Reddit thread just explodes.
Oh, I bet.
You've got people laughing about the missed opportunity.
Yeah.
You've got others who are like genuinely worried for his safety.
Right.
And then you've got those who are like questioning her motives completely.
It's like everyone's projecting their own experiences onto this whole thing.
It's wild. And of course, you've got all the classic Reddit jokes.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have those.
Especially the cat puns.
Of course.
But like, beyond all the humor, this story really taps into some serious societal anxieties.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to online dating.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole gig economy thing.
Oh, absolutely.
The fact that this all happened during a delivery gig?
Yeah, that definitely adds another layer to everything.
For sure.
Now you're talking about the potential risks of working in the gig economy,
Mm-hmm.
going to all these unfamiliar places,
Yeah.
interacting with all these strangers.
Totally. It makes you wonder, did he dodge a bullet or did he miss out on something real?
Such a good question.
There's this constant tension, right?
Yeah.
Between taking a chance
Yeah.
and staying safe,
Absolutely.
especially in a world where things can change so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think part of what makes this story so captivating
Yeah.
is that we just don't know what really happened.
It's the mystery.
But
For sure.
it's like everyone on that Reddit thread had a totally different take on the situation.
Oh, yeah.
Some people were all about the missed romantic opportunity, like he totally blew it.
Right.
Others were seeing like red flags everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there were those who were like convinced it was a catfish situation.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, the whole catfish angle is kind of fascinating
It is.
because it shows you how much online interactions can make people distrustful.
Oh, for sure.
Like, we're so used to things being fake online
Mhm.
that maybe we forget that real connections can happen too.
Yeah. It's like we're always looking for the catch. Yeah.
Right. But it's not just about online skepticism either.
No.
That thread also brought up some serious concerns about safety.
Yeah, especially in the gig economy.
Exactly. Like when you're working late hours,
Mhm.
going to all these different places you don't know,
Right.
you're definitely more vulnerable.
And I imagine that feeling of vulnerability is even stronger for women.
Oh, absolutely.
I saw a lot of comments pointing out that if the genders were reversed in this story, like if it was a female driver being invited into a male customer's apartment,
Right.
the safety concerns would be through the roof.
Totally. It just shows you the double standard that women often face.
Yeah, it's like there's this automatic assumption that a woman inviting a man inside is riskier
Mhm.
than the other way around.
It all ties back to those societal expectations.
Exactly. Gender roles, power dynamics, who's seen as more vulnerable.
It makes you realize that even something as simple as an invitation can have all these different layers of meaning.
Yeah, and when you add in the fact that this was an online interaction,
Right.
where tone and intent can be so easily misinterpreted,
It just gets even more complicated.
it really highlights the power of those misconnection stories.
Oh, yeah.
They tap into that universal feeling of what if.
Totally. What if I had taken that chance?
Exactly.
What if things had gone difficult?
It's that mix of possibility and regret.
And in today's world, where everything is so fast-paced,
Mm-hmm.
those what-if moments seem to be everywhere.
It's not just about romantic missed connections, though.
Right.
This story also got people talking about how we interpret social cues in general.
Yet, like, maybe the customer wasn't flirting at all.
Exactly.
Maybe she was just being friendly.
Or maybe she was trying to manipulate the situation to her advantage.
That's where the whole tip baiting idea comes in.
Oh, yeah, some people were speculating that she might have been leading him on.
Like with the promise of a bigger hip
Right.
or even a romantic connection.
Only to back out once he'd finished the delivery.
It's crazy how one story can spark so many different interpretations.
And the fact that this all played out on Reddit,
Oh, yeah.
where people can be brutally honest.
Just adds fuel to the fire.
It's like a real-time social experiment.
Right. You get to see how people process the same information,
Mm-hmm.
bring their own biases to the table.
And come to completely different
It's
conclusions.
fascinating. But beyond all the drama and the gossip,
Yeah.
this story also raises some important questions,
About risk, consent, boundaries,
especially in the gig economy.
where the lines between personal and professional are so blurred,
It's a good situation to navigate.
for sure.
So what can we learn from all of this?
That's the big question, isn't it?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is like, you got to trust your gut.
Yeah,
You just never know what's really going on.
right.
And sometimes playing it safe is the smartest move.
Totally agree. It's also a good reminder that being able to communicate clearly is so important,
Yeah.
no matter what the situation is.
Like setting boundaries,
Exactly.
being upfront about what you want,
Mm-hmm.
or even just saying no when something feels off,
It's all about advocating for yourself.
and putting your well-being first.
for sure. But this whole story also makes you think about the internet
Oh, yeah.
and how it can bring out both the good and the bad in people.
Like you see it in all the reactions to this story, right?
Yeah.
Some people are super empathetic and concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Others are just judgmental and harsh.
It's like a microcosm of the whole online world.
Where you can be anonymous and say whatever you want.
And it makes you wonder how this would have played out differently
Yeah.
if it had happened before the internet, you know?
Like, would the driver have felt the need to share his story online?
Right.
Would everyone be dissecting the customer's every move?
It's hard to say.
But I think it's safe to say that the internet has totally changed how we view social interactions.
It's like we're all part of this giant social experiment now.
Where every little thing is documented and analyzed.
I've debated endlessly.
But it's important to remember that these are real people with real feelings.
Oh, absolutely.
It's easy to get caught up in the online drama,
Yeah.
but we should try to be a little more understanding and compassionate.
Well said. So, to wrap things up, I'd like to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay?
In this world of instant connections and fleeting moments,
Mhm.
how do we find that balance?
Between putting ourselves out there
Right.
and protecting ourselves from getting hurt.
A tough question,
It is.
but it's something we should all be thinking about.
So true. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the human experience, don't forget to like and subscribe to Voices of the Soul for more.
Yeah, and you can find even more thought-provoking content on YouTube.
Just search for Shauna Polich.
That's right. We'll see you in the next deep dive.